Ray Lewis, crack him.
Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I'm back here with Mr. RotoWire's Henry Weinberg, aka my roommate, and we're out here sitting on my condo's balcony, and we wanted to talk about the future of the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns currently have what some might say is a 2-year window to win a championship, maybe 3 year, to really take advantage. I think one of the things that they can do, my dog has now joined us out on the balcony. As you can hear, she has dropped her bone. But before we continue today's video, we want to hear your thoughts down below. What do you guys expect the future of the Phoenix Suns? And what we're doing here, it's not like my season preview, but what realistically is this roster going to do? I mean, personally, I think after preseason day, the opener, what we saw scorching the earth with I'm blanking, Frank Vogel as the head coach. And again, I don't think Jusuf Nurkic looked any special. I really think the Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant trio is probably the best in the NBA. But what are your initial thoughts here?
It does start with Kevin Durant. He's still the best player on this team, although Devin Booker and his playoff performance can begin to make a compelling case given his age. I thought that the Beal and Booker backcourt looked extremely sharp yesterday.
I mean, I definitely think it looks good, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the roster ends up looking up. I remember Jake Fisher when the trade initially happened for Jusuf Nurkic and the DeAndre Ayton, Damian Lillard trade. They said Keon Johnson and Ish Wainwright would be the two players likely waived. They both played last game. I think the real thing is this starting lineup's probably the starting four in this lineup's probably the best four. It's still a big question. Who did they run at wing to start the game? Okogie?
Okogie started yesterday.
And we all remember Okogie had that 16 points per game run to end last year, where he was averaging 16 and a half, shooting 36% from three. I don't expect that to happen again, but
he is going to be the guy that gets open looks frequently in that offense. Not that he'll ever deliver at that level, but he has Frank Vogel's endorsement thus far throughout the preseason.
That's just because Josh Okogie guys like Okoro are just like defensive guys who are going to be left on an island to shoot threes, so the defense is going to test them.
But a la Torrey Craig a season ago, if he's given the volume, he could execute at a higher level.
Josh Okogie has shown more scoring chops than Torrey Craig.
Agreed. But yeah, he will not produce at that level that you referred to.
I think backup point guard Jordan Goodwin's there. That's solidified. Eric Gordon's kind of the sixth man. Grayson Allen's going to be behind Josh Okogie more than likely. Bol is going to be fighting with Naz Little and probably Watanabe as the Kevin Durant backup. And then you got Drew Eubanks and probably, I don't know who's their small ball five, but Drew Eubanks as the backup center and Udoka as the two-way guy. But Damian Lee and I think Keita Base Diop, my apology, are break the glass guys.
You might not see this team run a lot of small ball five, with the exception of Durant being there, with how defensively taxing he on the backcourt. They might prefer to have a big a lot.
I think I get that, but my whole thought is right here when we look at it, and this is for this season, and this is something that I think we could see is everyone's like Jusuf Nurkic is cool, he's a similar production level. He'll give you a similar production level to what Ayton did for this team at half the cost, but he isn't the same player he was before the injuries he recently.
But he also brings a level of playmaking. Sorry if I'm cutting you off. He brings a level of playmaking that Ayton did not bring.
Yes, but the whole thing is we're going to see he's probably going to get mismatch hunted on pick and rolls. He'll be brought out onto the perimeter, and I would not be surprised that deadline, this is a team that's looking for this could be a team that really should be calling up if the Nets are selling and Nick Claxton is basically saying he's going to leave and the Nets are trying to get rid of him so they don't lose him for nothing. They should be a team that looks into Claxton or somebody that they feel can not regularly be exposed on an island.
Defensively versatile center.
Yes. I would not be surprised if this is a team that come buyout market time or come trade deadline, they're looking at either a better backup center or a small ball center who's a power forward in the same lines of, I don't want to say, because these guys are getting more and more rare, but I mean, obviously, like PJ Tucker would be like the most ideal situation right here, or like I'm really trying to think at the top of my Royce O'Neal would be a really nice guy there. But like those guys, you don't want running at the 5. They're more small ball 4s. But like PJ Washington would be a really cool one. But like you lose rim protection there. That's just more of the versatility. You know, the idea of like a Chris Boucher.
Yeah.
Chris Boucher,
That would be nice.
if he's healthy.
Yeah.
I just feel like this team, depending on how things go, there could be a lot of retooling needed. My dog just laid down and it's like low-key the cutest thing in the world. Like, not a lot of retooling, dude, but like retooling on the fly could be needed to adjust certain things. Because the guys that I feel confident about, besides, you know, our starting 4, besides Josh Okogie, is what?
I'm pretty confident in the backup point guard spot.
Goodwin? I love like Jordan Goodwin.
I'm a
Saban Wizards fan.
I like Saban Lee in the backcourt.
Saban Lee's a 2-way. No, Saban Lee, Saban Lee just gets downhill and can't do anything else.
I think that he can be a decent punch off the bench for them. And I also think that Damian Lee is still underrated, even though he's hurt with the meniscus at the moment.
I did not know he had the meniscus thing at the moment. No disrespect to Saban Lee. I think Saban Lee can go to Europe and make tons more money than he'll make in the NBA. I think he'll have more success in Europe. I just think he's just a guy who likes to get downhill, who's an athletic freak, who has tunnel vision. That's my problem. He kind of gets tunnel vision when he gets downhill. Like he's not a facilitator. I don't typically think he's the guy you're running in. I think he's more of a combo guard in a point guard spot.
Yeah, and I guess that isn't what this team needs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think Jordan Goodwin's a legit defensive pass first guard. True point guard. That's just my part. No offense to Saban Lee. He's a great basketball player. Just I really think that type is better in like Turkey.
Yeah, I would agree that of the 3, Jordan Goodwin is who I'm most excited.
Oh, he's 100. I'm a Wizards fan. I'm a Windsor fan. I watched this guy all last year. Like I love Jordan Goodwin. Now, let's move over. Keon Johnson and Ish Wainwright are basically gone. I think he's been waived, right? Did they?
No.
They haven't waived Ish. But that's what they've alluded to. Even though I love Ish Wainwright and I think they should keep him. I think this is where it starts to get questionable. Is I love Eric Gordon, I like Grayson Allen, I like Damian Lee, but they all have their flaws. Eric Gordon is old. That's his flaw. He's not as good at everything that he once was good at or known for. He's not that anymore.
It's just in decline.
It's in decline. Okay, and it's just not as consistent, but he's still there. He's still there.
Bad for the Clippers last year. Looked okay yesterday. It's preseason. His legs are gonna give out on him.
You just can't play him the same way. Okay, it's not Eric Gordon from 3 years ago. So Damian Lee, what is he besides Steph Curry's brother-in-law? Well, he went to the same high school as all my best friends did in Maryland. So there's that. And the thing with Damian Lee is he'll be the microwave for this team. He's a combo guard who can play a little bit of wing, but who can also play a little bit of point guard. I rather play Grayson Allen and Eric Gordon before that. And then Grayson Allen he's a solid white dude who's scrappy and can play defense, hit the 3, but occasionally he'll make boneheaded decisions where like everybody's going to be waiting for that moment in the second round of the playoffs where there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock and Grayson Allen has the ball instead of Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, and he's going to fucking take a ISO situation and drive to the hoop and everyone's going to be sitting there or standing there like Grayson.
Hit the bench, old man.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because you could potentially see Damian Lee at 6'5" slot in.
At the wing?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I mean, we've seen it with the Warriors. We saw it with the Warriors.
Even in place of Okogie sometimes. If they really need offense.
I get scared of the defense.
The guy who hit 44.5% of 3.3 threes per game last season. That is an elite level, and it is defensively concerning. No doubts.
No, I think, that lineup, you'd have to switch it up. Like, that's why I think maybe they try Yuta Watanabe at the 3. I know Yuta Watanabe is more of a 4. He could play small ball 5. That could be the guy that ends up being their small ball 5. Yuta Watanabe.
Almost equally defensively porous, though, although he is bigger.
But the other thing is I love Watanabe, but Watanabe truly should be like your 10th guy in your rotation, not your 8th guy. Or like not your 8th guy, your 6th guy.
Championship team.
Yeah, you want him closer to 10 than 6.
Yeah.
That's what.
Be your 8th man in the regular season.
That's what everyone was saying. Was like, people were like, wait, why is Yuta Watanabe not playing after the Nets traded Kevin Durant? Well, it's because the Nets got deeper and they realized, oh crap, damn, we got like 5 guys in return for like KD. Sorry, Yuta, like you're a great player, but like Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dewey, all those boys are going to be playing in front of you. You know what I mean?
And he also is the perfect type of role player to play alongside superstars.
Oh yeah, this was I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant asked for you to come over, and I think
he's a great spot up ad for all those gravitational players that Phoenix has.
Well, that's why I was thinking when right here you have got Devin Booker, Yuta, and a Bradley Beal, Jusuf. That's actually a lineup that I could see. But this is the whole thing is the guys that they have under contract for the next. I gotta give me 1 second, guys. I do want to pull up the salaries for the Suns. As the Suns' salaries for the next, I believe it is. There's you have it right here. What is so right here? Who do they have under contract going into next season? Because let's talk about the future right here.
Going into next season, it is Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Jusuf Nurkic, and Nasir Little.
And then.
You want me to read off player options?
Yes, tell me all the player options, we'll include team options in there as well.
A lot of player options. Eric Gordon, Josh Okogie, Damian Lee, Yuta Watanabe, Drew Eubanks, and Keita Bates-Diop. Job. Team options are Jordan Goodwin and Keon Johnson.
So that's 8 players you just listed up. So with 5 of them being player options. So that means that realistically, Keon Johnson's probably going to be gone. Jordan Goodwin will be brought. So the guys that you have under contract for next year are Jordan Goodwin, Naz Little, Jusuf Nurkic, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. So you're going to have to find 9 guys next year. So don't be surprised. Come deadline. Maybe they hear that maybe Jusuf Nurkic isn't working out as well as they thought. And they go out and they say, hey, Toronto, send us Chris Boucher, Christian Koloku, and we'll send you Jusuf. We won't send you. We'll send Jusuf Nurkic to another team, or even next off season if they go through the full season. Maybe I feel like the deadline he'd have to be really bad for them to do it at the deadline. But maybe in the off season they realize Jusuf Nurkic is the problem to go out and get Chris Boucher and Christian Koloku and somebody from the Raptors.
But you are right that this is the window. So I think if they see an opportunity to strike at the deadline, you can't rule it out.
You can't rule. I think their best chance to win a championship is this year. Second best is next year, and every year we get further away. It gets smaller and smaller. Because this year, if they don't win a championship, they have to come really freaking close to entice free agents. Because if their second round exit, people don't care. They got to be a Western Conference Finals exit, and it's got to be it's got to be like the Lakers. They gotten swept by a team that goes on to sweep. You know what I mean? Where people are like, oh, the Lakers were good. Why did free agents go to the Lakers? Because the Lakers they got swept by they lost a gentleman swept by the Nuggets, who swept in the finals. So everyone knew, probably the Lakers were the second best team in the league last year, or third. They were a top 3 team, or 4.
Yeah, you're talking top 5 for sure.
So the Suns have to end the season being viewed as a top 5 team to entice another wave of free agents to take similar deals to the Eric Gordon, Josh Okogie's. What do you think?
I think that's a slightly arbitrary number. I think that Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are among the more well-liked duos league-wide. So I think that they have personal appeal to draw people to come and play there.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, they have to show that with an aging core, they have to show that they're
that's what I'm saying.
Contender now to attract people. Yeah, that is
those important. 3 could play all 82 games, Beal, Booker, Durant, and if they lose in the second round, I don't think they carried the same appeal that they did this offseason.
Yeah, hard to say. I think it could be similar, but the time is now, without a doubt, regardless.
Now, how volatile could Frank Vogel's job be? Could he get David Blatt?
What do you mean by that?
I know David Blatt was second season, right? Mm-hmm. They got rid of him, but that they feel like,
I would take the over on 2.5 years.
Oh, you give him Frank Vogel the time because he's championship winning coach and all that.
Yeah.
I honestly think who would get fired before David Blatt? Not David. You know who would get fired before Frank Vogel? James Jones. It's not his GM. Frank Vogel is Matt Ishbia, or is it Ishbia or Ishbia?
Yeah,
Ishbia. Ishbia's coach, but James Jones isn't. Remember, Isaiah Thomas was consulting for the Suns all offseason.
Yeah, I don't know though, because you got to think that James Jones and Ishbia have collaborated and are happy with what they've done thus far.
Yeah, but they had to publicly come out and say that Isaiah Thomas was just consulting and James Jones was still. But it seems like James Jones has had some demotion or responsibilities. Like he's not.
His voice has.
Yes. Diminishing voice within the organization. That was something that Matt Ishbia had to come out and state that James Jones is still the GM and stuff. It had to come out that was publicly had to be stated. So I think that's something. Watch the James Jones. People are well, he's just the general manager. You have to understand this is a business world. Even when somebody buys a company, they want their execs. They want their guy saying yes. They don't want the last regime's people saying yes. Why do you think people look at this? Look at the Arizona Cardinals. They're legit thinking about getting rid of Kyler Murray, which yes, it's Kyler Murray, but in any other situation, you don't get rid of the number 1 overall pick that you just gave a massive contract extensions. Most teams will be using that as a ploy to get a better coach to be you don't have to worry about getting a quarterback. You have a quarterback here, but now people are saying oh, they might be getting rid of their quarterback instead of building around. So it just shows people want their guys.
Yeah. I would still lean in the case of the Suns on the side of continuity in the front office. I think that there will be continuity with this department.
You think?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest thing that this team is trying to accomplish?
In regard to
my dog just pushed through. It's so geek.
In regard to on-court performance?
Yeah, what do you think this is a team that's going to continue doing the trades in the regular season, or do you think they're going to try to go continuity regular season and just strike on the off season? I think they're going to be players in the deadline or the buyout market.
Me too. Another versatility at the center position would be nice. Especially with Nurkic's durability, I think their hand could be forced. But
what contract would you say is the most tradable player? If you guys had to look at this, I think it's Naz Little. He's the most. Naz Little, Jusuf Nurkic. Am I wrong?
No, I think it would be Nas.
No, that's what I'm saying, Nas. This season.
I don't know if people call him Nas. I think we should call him this year.
No, people call him Nas.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen him listed. In 2K, he was listed as Nas, I'm pretty sure. The place I've seen Nas.
Yeah, I would say he's, in fact, pretty much the only person with trade value.
Or not trade value, but that they'd be willing to trade.
Yeah.
And players, realistically, they could get on that trade. Some of the ambulance is going out to get somebody. But realistically, players that they could trade for that trade value, Jetty Osman, Danilo Gallinari, Patty Mills, Caleb Martin, Kem Birch, Cody Martin, Ayo DeSumo,
no big.
Otto Porter, Kenrick Williams, Javon Carter, Ricky Rubio. Yeah, no bigs, Dean Wade, Cole Anthony, Beef Stew, but then he would go into the deadline. Yeah, Chumo KK, who we know is available. And then at that point, it's just getting too cheap. And then if you want to see if they can go maybe a TJ McConnell, which they probably have floated Naz Little to the Pacers for TJ McConnell, because we've known for a while this offseason that the Suns were trying to get TJ McConnell because they wanted him to be their point guard. And then maybe Jock Landale would be the only guy. Jock's the only one within. Jock, Mo Wagner, Trey Lyles, Thad Young.
Mo Wagner would be a good addition. He's not going to be available, though.
All right, here they are. Here are the four guys. Zach Collins, who's the best option.
Yeah.
Then I personally think second option, Jock Landale or Onyeka Okongwu, which they should really do at the deadline, is if they find out the Hawks don't want to re-sign Okongwu. Oh, wow, you wouldn't do that?
It's not. That is not even plausible, I think.
I think the Hawks, personally, what I think the Hawks are doing, which is kind of fucked up with the Hawks, I thought the Hawks were going to trade Capella this offseason so they can give Okongwu the run. But what I think they're going to do is they're going to trade Capella at next offseason, and they're going to screw Okongwu over because he hasn't played. So his contract value is super low because no one knows his true value. So they're going to get him on a cheap 4-year, $60 million deal where they're paying him $10 or $15 million a year. And then they're going to trade Capella. And instead of having paid Okongwu $30 or $25 million a year, if they had actually let him freaking done, that's what I think. But You're right in there. I think the actual guy is Jock Landale. If Jock Landale, let's say if who are the backup bigs? Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith. Who else is on that Rockets team?
I don't know if Tari Eason plays any 5.
Tari Eason doesn't play the 5. I don't think they really have. Do you have Bruno Fernando? No, that's the Hawks. It's so let's just say if Jock Landale, somebody that the Rockets want to move on from, I think that's the perfect guy. I mean, to bring back. I just think the problem with Trey Lyles is Mo Wagner. You don't care for those guys. That's just 3-point shooting.
There is Boban in Houston.
I mean, there is technically JaVale or Daniel Tice.
Daniel Tice would be interesting, actually.
Daniel Tice would be.
Daniel Tice is my new favorite option we've named here.
Daniel Tice, they would just have to package somebody with that. Well, you know who we're forgetting completely about? Chemsy Metu. That's their backup big. That's another guy. Actually, Chemsy Metu could actually be a bigger impact than Drew Eubanks.
But both are strictly drop centers. Would you agree with that?
Chemsy Metu's more in the line of a 3-and-D big, especially after his year with Sacramento last year. Yes.
Well, but does that imply that he can stretch out and like do certain things on the perimeter?
Yeah. Like, let me pull up Chemmy. Was he a first-round pick? Yeah, was he a first-round pick? Or was he a second-round pick? He was second 49 by the Spurs. Yeah, so last year he shot 24% from 3. Year before he shot 31. Again, all unlimited volumes, but he's shown that he's like this 6'9" with a 7-foot plus wingspan who's willing to stretch the floor, which like isn't the worst thing in the world.
Very bad advanced metrics defensively.
Who, Chemsy?
Yeah. Gave up 1.04 points per possession, which ranks in the 17th percentile of all players.
He's like this athletic tweener. He's a 4, 5, and he's improved every year. The offensive game's really freaking developed from nothing into like something. Like it's not something, but it's legit was nothing. It like no 3-point shot, nothing. Now he's shooting threes. Okay. And I think the other thing is he's racked up, I think his defensive prowess from college hasn't fully carried over. Have you seen his defensive stats in college? Pull them up.
Well, at this point, it's been 5 years since college.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're coming.
What were the stats in college? They're ridiculous. They're like, this is like why you wanted him. I believe his measurements, he's got a 7-foot wingspan on a 6'9", almost a 6'10" frame. 6'9.5" he's listed at. He's the guy that was there. Also, Jimmy Fredette, you weren't ahead of your time. You're just a white dude who could shoot. AKA, you were just every white guy that's existed. I just think they have to strike while the iron's hot. Keep trading those second-round picks. What do you think over here while you're being silent? Think out loud, buddy.
He was you want Chemesi College defensive stats?
Sure.
Moved on. He was a plus defender across the board, spot ups, post ups.
Where'd he go again? Auburn?
USC.
USC, that's what it was.
So he was a plus defender. Not off the charts numbers, 58 blocks and 34.
And it just hasn't carried over to the NBA. Correct me if I'm wrong?
Well, unless he has off the chart like rates, through the numbers, he does not portray as an elite defensive guy. 58 blocks in 34 games. That's like 1.6.
So closing thoughts. What is the Phoenix Suns' future? 2 to 3 year championship window that they constantly have to be retooling if they're not winning championships. Continuity if they are.
Yeah, well, I think continuity if they're not to a certain extent. I think that winning a championship in your first year of this core, and it's the core is entering your.
I mean, the Cavs kept changing. The Warriors kept changing.
But you have all these player options that aren't getting declined.
You don't know if they're going to get picked up. I mean, they could increase their value.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys took prove-it deals.
You would assume that some of these are getting picked up. But so, I think that they are a top
5 team
in the league.
Yeah.
That matches up pretty well with Boston and might struggle against a team like the Bucks.
I think they can beat the Bucks. I actually think the Suns are better than the Bucks. I think they have more depth.
They do definitely have more depth.
and they can outrun them. They're not as old as the Bucks roster. The Bucks roster is old.
Yeah, and maybe the mid-range assassins can, to a certain extent, make Brook Lopez and the rim protection of the Bucks null and void.
Exactly.
So they have a chance to really compete with just about any team in the league. Good point in saying that. So
that's basically our thoughts. 2-3 window. Hope you guys enjoyed this long ass video, but that's gonna be it. Hit that like and subscribe button if you made it to the end, because you seem to have enjoyed that. Peace out.
Bye.